Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today so we're going about the detailed process in the sewing of this beautiful palazzo drawstring jumpsuit. So as you can see right here, it has buttons in front, it has a collar and also a slit by the side. So if this sounds like something you're interested in learning, please continue watching, and without much ado, let's get started with what we have for today. Basically, the drafting part of this beautiful palazzo jumpsuit has been uploaded on the channel. So in this particular one, we're going about the detailed sewing. So if you haven't watched out the first part, which is the drafting part, the link to the tutorial will be in the description box, and on here on your screen is also the thumbnail to that particular one. So trust me, it's 100% beginners friendly tutorial, so ensure that you watch it out so that you can understand everything that will be done in the second part, which is basically the sewing part. But if you have watched out the first part, just continue from here. We'll just do this all together. So in the last part of the tutorial, in the first part, this is where we stopped, where we joined our trouser at the sides. We joined the front crotch and also the two sides. So the only part we have open now is just the center, as you can see right here. So this is the wrong side of this my trouser, okay, as you can see right here. So at the side while I was joining, I wasn't supposed to join this all to the end because I was meant to leave at least a slit, okay. So I'll let her go ahead do all of that by at least loosening it up to 14 inches from the base. So arrange your trouser on the wrong side, so you know that the only part that is still left open is the crotch part for the back. So now I measured and marked my waist. So the waist you're marking right here, remember, it has to correspond with the upper part of your waist. So that is exactly what I've done so far, and you can see right now that I'm pinning the crotch area of my back trouser. So after that, I'll also go ahead and measure my hip circumference divided by 2. So remember that on the waist, I also divided my waist by 2. I added extra 2 inches, which I added for the upper part of my on my waistline, okay. So at this point now, I just marked my choke is the hip length. So I'm going to divide my hip circumference by 2, and whatever I have, I'm going to mark it. So it was like half of an inch I had left, which is perfectly fine and okay. So you can see what we have so far. So you can see how I'm now connecting this from the waist all the way into the crotch area, which I'm going to be joining using half of an inch around the crotch area. So like I said, for the sides, you can see that other side we're supposed to have at least a slit of about 15 inches from the base, okay. So that's what I mark on the base. So I'll lose it and stop exactly on that point where I have my chalk mark. So this is it, and if you have a weaving machine at this point, please go ahead and weave this separately, okay. So now for the upper part, this is what it looks like. I'll turn it now to the right side, you can see right here. So I've already joined that other sleeve to the shoulder, you can also see right here. So I'm trying to arrange this all very well so that I can show you all the next thing I went ahead to do. So here is the band for the front part of this our jumpsuit. So I have it right here now on fold, okay. So it's about 5 inches wide, but when I folded it's about 2.5 inches, you can see right here. So it's about 5 inches wide on when you unfold it, then unfold is about 2 inches, okay. So also go ahead and iron this properly and make sure that it's lengthy enough at least to go all the way from the waist part of your upper dress up to the front part of the neckline. So now on the rough edges, I'm pinning this right sides facing each other. I hope you can see what I'm doing right here. So I'm pinning this and I'll stop exactly on that point where I notched for the front neckline, as you can see. So the other excess I have, I'm just going to cut it out when I'm done stitching. So I'll stitch this using just half of an inch. So before going ahead to stitch, remember that we have our drawstring that passed through the waist, so that's what I'm going to create a space for. Now from the base, I marked 1 inch from the base upward. Remember, we are joining with half of an inch the lower part. Then from that 1 inch, I marked 3/4 of an inch away from that 1 inch. So now I'm going to join using half an inch from that 1 inch below up to the waist. Then I will now continue from this 3/4 of an inch, okay. So I'm not going to stitch it straight. So this to enable our drawstring to pass through, because if you stitch up everything, it cannot pass through, okay. So now I went ahead to cut off the excess I have for my band, as you can see right here. So now this is the trouser part. As you can see, I've joined the crotch, and I've also stitch one part of the slit. So that's the way I normally do this. I just fold this once and now stitch, okay, because at the moment I don't have a weaving machine, so I just fold it once and stitch. By the time I fold it the second time, as you can see, it is going to be very neat, okay. So I won't have this rough edges. So on that point, make sure you notch it slightly, but don't cut through your threads, okay. Just notch it slightly. As you can see, I've done my right here. So after that, this is the second way I will fold, so you can see what I mean. But if you have a weaving machine, you can just go ahead and weave it out first. When you're now doing, now fold it just once before you go ahead to stitch, instead of stitching it for the first time and doing it. But if you don't have a weaving machine, just do it exactly the same way I've done it right here. So the next I'm going to do is to join the front and the back part of this my trouser. So we come to the crotch, you're going to open it up this way, just as I've done right here. Make sure that you open it up and pin them together, so right sides facing each other. That's why I'm doing this. Then from the base, I'll also go ahead and pin them together. So when I'm stitching, I'm going to stitch using just 3/4 of an inch from the base all the way. So when I get to this point where I have my crotch, I'm going to now divide my thigh measurement by 2. Mark whatever I have right there. So if you don't want it like very fitted on you, when you divide your thigh circumference by 2, you leave about half of an inch, like you add about half of an inch extra to whatever you get, just as I've done right here. So from the base, I'll stitch all the way to this other side of my trouser. I hope you're not confused at all, okay. So while doing this, you have to be accurate with your measurements so that you don't end up making mistakes, okay. So here now is for the upper part. I'm gonna head to join the band to the front part, as you can see right here. So this is actually the wrong side of my dress, and I'm just going ahead now to arrange it at the sleeve and also the sides. All right. So remember that while I was drafting, the allowance that was left was 1 inch, so I'm going to be using 1 inch now to join after pinning. So arrange this properly as I'm doing right here, right sides facing each other. So at the moment now is the wrong side of this my fabric that is facing the camera. So go ahead now and mark just 1 inch all around. As you can see, I'm also marking it right here. So after marking it, you can join the two sides. All right. So I've also joined the center part of my back, of my trouser, sorry, the front and the back together, and you can see what I have left so far. So you can also see the slit, so you can see how I stitch it. So the next thing is actually hem the base by folding it in twice, or you can fold it in once if you actually weaved it earlier. So after joining the upper part, you can also see what I have right now. So here now is the right side of the upper part of the front. So I'm now going to arrange it properly around the waist area. So the next thing, I will slightly use one part of the band. You can use the left or the right to overlap this other part of the band, as you can see I'm doing right here. So you're just going to join it like this on the way, just overlap it slightly, and then you join it using just half of an inch on that point, just for the front part alone. So I'm gonna head out to do this, and you can see what I have so far. So the next is to now join the upper part of this dress to the trouser part. Now when we join it together, it's going to be a full jumpsuit. So all I'm just doing is to fold this into 2 so that I can get the middle for the front and for the back as well. And I'm also going to notch it as well on the waist area, as you can see I'm doing right here. So now that I've done that, you can see what I have. I'm going to get the lower part of the trouser part of this my dress, and I'm going to join it right now. So what I'm going to do is that I'll put the upper part of my dress inside my trouser, okay. So at this point now, the wrong side of my trouser is facing the camera, So on that waistline I'm now going to join. So from the part I notch in the middle of the upper part, I'm going to pin it together with the center part of the crotch part of my trouser for both the front and for the back as well. So make sure that you go ahead and pin this all around, and remember that we are joining using just 1 inch. So take your time and gently pin this all around, as you can see. So when I'm now done, you can see that they align properly on the waist area. So after this, now I'll just go ahead and join using just 1 inch, okay, because that was the allowance that was given for joining allowance. So you can see what I have right now after joining the upper part and the lower part. Remember, I used 1 inch, so I measured it out so you can see it as well. The next I'm going to do now is to actually fold this stitch we have right here, okay. So by the time you now do this, you're going to realize that our opening or hole for our drawstring is still intact. So now you're going to actually get that joint you have, and you're going to raise it up, okay. So it's not going to be on the trouser part, instead on the upper part of your jumpsuit. So if the dress you have is too bulky, you go ahead and reduce it in length, okay, for the top part, not the trouser part, okay. You can see the part I'm trimming off slightly and not the trouser part. All right, so now I'm going to now stitch this allowance I have on top of the top part of this my jumpsuit. So you're going to fold in at least 1/4 inch from that 1 inch joints you have right here. As you can see, I'm doing right here. So you're just going ahead now to fold this in and now stitch. So when you're done with all of that, go ahead and also cut out your rope that is at least 1/2 inch wide. So I've gone ahead to do that, as you can see right here, and this is what it looks like on the right side. So you can see that the hole I have right here is still there. It didn't go inside with the joints I have, okay. So the next thing is to now pass this my rope through from that hole all the way around, and now bring it out from the other side of the hole for the front, okay. So this is quite very easy to do if you just have to just be patient enough and calmly do this. So using my safety pin, I'm using it to pass this through all the way from the front, and then I went all the way around to this other side, as you can see right here. So it's long enough. Make sure your rope is about twice the width of your waist, okay. So the next thing I'm just simply going to do now is that you fix your buttons and create your buttonhole, okay. So from the neckline, you can mark at least 5 or 6 inches below before fixing your button, and after that just quickly go ahead and measure out from this part. Now I folded it into 2 to the center part of this my dress. This is for me to cut out a collar, okay. So I'll cut out a collar and now fix it to this upper part. So that is basically all you have to do, and that will be how this will come out so beautiful and perfect. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on this same channel some other time. If you're a beginner and you're here to subscribe, please kindly do so. We have 100% beginners friendly tutorial right here on the channel. Thank you for all your engagement. I'll see you all on this same channel next time. Have a lovely time ahead of you all. Bye.